Today we are going to start with string concatenation. Then we'll talk about if-else condition, which is condition statement in Java. So string concatenation can be done in multiple ways in Java. String concatenation is basically combining multiple string into a single one. So here we have a string name. We can do a simple operation. Let's say we want to add 1 to this name. In the println statement, we can just do name plus 1. And what it is going to do is it's going to concatenate the string. Though 1 is an integer, but because name is a string, it is going to treat 1 also as a string, and it is going to concatenate these two. So if we compile and run this application now, we will see John.1 in the output. And you can see here, as expected, we are seeing John.1. Similarly, if we do plus 2, it is going to be nothing but John.12. And you can see it's John.12, and so on and so forth. So this is pretty straightforward. Now, previous versions of Java, the concatenation of string with plus had performance issues. But in the later versions of Java, I think after Java 9, this is not a problem anymore. But still, there are cases where people have done performance analysis and has seen after a certain number of string, the string concatenation with plus can be a little bit slower. Now, before we get into the alternative for plus, let's look into another method in string, which is called concat. So we can declare another one called string new name is equal to name dot, and we can try the concat. And in concat, we can again pass 12. Now, the difference between the plus and the concat is, as you can see, the input parameter to concat is always a string. Whereas in plus concatenation, when we do string concatenation with plus, it can be any object on the right side, which also means that one of them can be null. Whereas when we do concat, this object, the name string that we declared before, needs to be defined. Otherwise, it is going to throw an error runtime. So for example, if we just declare the name as null, you can see there's a squiggly shown by the Visual Studio Code which says null pointer access. The variable name can only be null at the location. So here what it says is here the variable name is going to be null, which is going to cause a problem. That's what it is saying. Now if we try to compile this code and run it, as you can see, we have got an error. The error is a null pointer exception, and it is saying cannot invoke concat on a null because the string name was null. So this is the main difference between using plus versus null. So let me reset it to what it was, which was. And now here, if we just print out the new name, and we go here, compile, and run, we can see the same response as before, John.12. Now, these are the two implementation of concatenation. Now, the third one we are going to talk about is StringBuilder. As I mentioned, earlier days, StringBuilder was much more popular because using plus had performance issues. But now, for at least for smaller number of string, plus and StringBuilder does not have any difference. But when you are dealing with lots and lots of string and you want to concatenate them, it makes sense using StringBuilder. So for StringBuilder, we can declare StringBuilder new StringBuilder, and then we can just do builder dot append, and we can append a string here. We can either give the string like this, or we can just simply add the name, and then we can do builder dot append, and here we can give 1 2, and then all we have to do is here we can just do builder dot toString, and now if we compile and run, we'll see the exact same response as before. And you can see we saw the same response. So these are the 3 ways. And the 4th way is when we do format. So format is something which is very useful when we want to pass in variables inside of a string statement. So for example, if we want to do something like John Doe has age of 12, let's say. So the way we can do it is, so here we can say string.format, and in here we can say %s has an age of %s, and here we can say first one is name and second argument as 12. So now if we just compile and run this, and let me get rid of this because this is not needed. So StringBuilder is also not needed. So let me get rid of this too and just keep the format just for making it much more cleaner and easy to look at. So now if I go and do compile and then run, you can see I see John Doe has an age of 12. So what format did is it replaced the first % as the name argument and the second % as the 12, which is the second argument. Similarly, we can have multiple and say at address, and here we can give some address 1 2 3 street. Let's say this is the address. And now again, if we compile and then we run, here we'll see John Doe has an age of 12 at address. I forgot to keep the %. Let me recompile and run. And you can see John Doe has an age of 12 at address 123 street as expected. So these are few of the ways we can do string concatenation. And apart from that, there is a third form of concatenation, but it is a little bit advanced, which is String.join. So for String.join, similarly, what we can do is we can do String.join. And for the join, the first parameter is a delimiter. It is the character delimiter between the strings that we are going to join. So for the character sequence, we can give it as comma. And then for the arguments, first we can give name as the first argument. And for the second arguments, we can give 1 2. So now what it is going to do is it's going to print name, comma 12, which is John Doe, comma 12. So we're going to compile and run, and we can see John Doe, comma 12. So this is another way of doing string concatenation using join, but join gives the advantage of providing a delimiter between the string we want to concatenate. Whereas in other cases, we can have multiple types of delimiter, but we have to pass them individually as part of the concatenation process. Whereas here it takes a standard delimiter, it will add the delimiter to all the string that we are going to pass as an argument. So these are different ways of doing string concatenation. Now let's look into the second thing that I wanted to cover today, which is the conditions. And we're going to start with if, else. So first let's start with if. And for if, let's declare an integer number here. It's an integer count equal to 10. So if, as the name itself suggests, it's a condition. So you check something, you say, if this is this, then do something. Else do something else, right? This is just like English. If you have to go north, then take this road, otherwise take the second road. Similarly, we can do conditional operation in Java using if-else condition. So if we want to say if count is equal to 10, then print something. So we can do if count, and for the equality comparison, we are going to use double equal operator. So double equal operator here is used for comparing equality. So and then we can say system dot out dot println, and I can say count is count. And if we compile the statement and run here, we are going to see count is 10 as expected. Now if we give if count is double equals 11, nothing is going to print out because the if condition is not going to satisfy. At this point in time, now we can say else, and here we can similarly do a print statement, and we can say count did not match the count is, and we can print the count here. So now if we compile, we'll see the second statement. Because the first statement was not successful, count is equal to 10, it is not equal to 11, so it is going to come into the else condition, and it is going to say count did not match, the count is 10, whereas we were expecting 11. Now apart from using equal to, we can also use greater than equal to, which is also going to be not successful in this case. We can also use less than equal to. So if we use less than equal to now, 10 is less than equal to 11. So now this case, the condition will be successful. It will get inside the if condition and it will print that statement out. So now we can compile and run, and this time we are going to see count is 10. Apart from just using single condition, we can have multiple condition joined together, and we can use conditional operator here. So for example, we can say if count is less than equal to 11, or, and this is the operator for or, and then we can say if it is less than equal to 0 or count is greater than 15. Now in this case it's going to work because it is less than equal to 0. Or if we make the count as 16 now, this should also work because 16 is greater than 15. So let's now compile and run this project, and we can see the count is 16. Similarly, we can have multiple operators. Apart from this, we can also have AND operator, which will say AND. So if this is less than 0 and greater than 15, which is never going to be successful. So we can say if it is less than 11 and greater than 0, then come inside, which is going to be successful if the value is 10. So if we put the count value as 10, 10 is less than equal to 11 and 10 is greater than 0. So this will be successful. So now if we compile and run this program, we are going to see 10 being printed out. We can also use another operator, which is not. So if we say count is not equal to 11 and count is greater than 0. So this condition will also satisfy for 10. So if we run this now, we can see this operation is satisfied. Similarly, we can have an else if condition. So we can say, okay, if count is not equal to 11 and greater than 10, then do something. Else if count, and let's change this condition here, because if we don't change this condition, the else if is not going to make a lot of sense. So I'm just going to keep count is not equal to 11, and here we can say else if count is less than 10, and let's change it back to equal to 11. Otherwise, again, it's not going to make sense. So else if count is less than 10, and here we can print in else if. In else if count is something, and here let's make it as 9, And let's compile and run this. And you can see it is printing else if count is 9. Apart from if, else if, and else, we can also have conditional operator which are nested. So inside this else if or this if or this else, we can have another set of if conditions. So let's say we say instead of this, if count is less than 9, then do something, else have this print statement. So now since count is not less than 9, it is going to come in the else condition and print the same statement again. So we can run this and we can see the same print statement. So this is how we can have if else condition for finding different condition, and we can have if, else if, else, and then we can also have nested if else condition. And the nested condition can be multiple nested conditions. So here if count is less than 9, inside also you can say if count is equal to 3, then just print double nested count, for example. And let's make it as 8. And if we make it as 8, nothing is going to be printed out. And you can see nothing is printed. But if we make it 3, then it is going to print out, because for 3 it will come into this else if condition because 3 is less than 10. Then 3 is less than 9, then 3 is equal to 3, so it's just going to go inside and print it. And we can see it's printed. So this was if condition. Now I'm going to cover the switch case statement in the next video along with a couple of other features of Java. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel and you think you are getting value out of my channel, subscribe to my channel. And thanks so much for watching this video.